More than 6 decades after a World War II plane crashed in West Kentucky and killed the 9 soldiers on board, a town wants to honor those men. Our News Channel 6's Lauren Adams has that story.
Todd, the B-29 bomber crashed during a storm on July 1st, 1945. 4 officers died as well as 5 enlisted men. 1 man did survive parachuting more than 8,000 feet to the ground. The victims were flown home and buried. The survivor recovered at a Kentucky hospital. Little else is known or has been talked about in Marshall County until now.
It's eerie. You think about their lives. I don't think so much about the crash as I do their lives and the life that they didn't get to live.
Gary Teckenrock grew up less than a mile from where a B-29 bomber crashed on the morning of July 1st, 1945.
Apparently, about 200 yards in that direction was the fuselage and the cockpit.
Born several years later, he grew up playing in those woods and would occasionally hear stories about the crash.
They didn't know if they were being bombed. They had no idea until they got up the next morning and saw plane parts all over their yard and across the road.
But as generations grew older and neighbors moved away, the 9 men were all but forgotten. In the past few weeks, a group led by Marshall County Planner Josh Tubbs began working to change that.
Second Lieutenant Ward W. Copenhaver.
They're in the process of contacting the victims' families and learning anything they can about the men and that night.
Corporal Roy Berryhill was the tail gunner on that plane that night, and he actually...
It's been more than 6 decades since that bomber crashed in these very woods, and now finally a memorial will be built here to keep alive the honor of those men who died 1 month before the war's end.
After this plane crash is when the atomic bombs were dropped. So, you know, it's hard to say. I don't think that it was necessarily forgotten, but I certainly think that now is the perfect opportunity to remember and honor.
The memorial's organizers say the county will pay for it, but aren't sure how much it will cost. The victims' families have been contacted, and some are so grateful they've offered to send money to help offset the cost. They're also sending photos of their loved ones and letters they received from folks in Marshall County 60 years ago, sending their condolences. Todd, back to you.
All right, Lauren, thank you. There are no formal design plans for that memorial. However, organizers hope to have it built by September. Who drinks more, alcohol, girls or guys? We have the answer and why, plus what parents can do to stop their teen from drinking in the first place. And special memorial, a Northern Illinois University community coming together to honor those killed during a shooting rampage as they focus on heading back to class tomorrow.